Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be commentating another Curse of the Moon 2 speedrun. This is Episode EX Ultimate, played on the Veteran difficulty, which is pretty much just normal mode. Now, a lot of people don't know that you can play as the original Bloodstained cast in the sequel here. Episode EX is kind of a secret episode. It unlocks only if you've gotten the bad ending for Episode 2, where you fail to save Dominique. Here you replay the game with Miriam, Alfred, and Jebel, and already we're seeing there are some unique routes, like this one, only accessible with the OG crew. Now, I wasn't sure what to expect with this category going in, but it ended up being my absolute favorite speedrun for Curse of the Moon 2. I think it's got the most interesting movement and the most interesting combat. There are also parts like this that you just don't see in any other category. Every stage has got branching paths, and typically we follow the same route no matter which characters we're playing as. But in EX, a lot of unique routes become optimal. So this is an interesting strat. There was a slight reroute for this category over the past month or so. What we would do before is take a more traditional route through the middle of the stage and get the electric power up. But if you do that, you don't get the MP boost. So instead, we're going to forego the electric power up and go with the fire shield for boss number 1 here. Yeah, as you can see, that deals a lot of good combo damage in combination with the Demon Essence. So yeah, good stage, clean boss. Now, right when we climb these stairs, we're going to have a choice between going left and going right. The left route is almost always slower, unless you're playing on a casual difficulty where there's no knockback. Because as you'll see, these rooms are very busy. A lot of enemies, a lot of projectiles. But with the Alfred fire shield, it's actually reasonable to navigate all this quickly. So it ends up being the faster route. Plus, there is an electric power-up we can pick up here, since we had to skip it in stage 1. I've talked about that power-up a couple of times. It's bar none the best sub-weapon in any Bloodstained game. It's coming up right here. Get through the ninja, slide. Swap and swap back. If you're used to seeing the electric weapon in Curse of the Moon 1, totally different in this game. Okay, so boss number 2, Lubius, is a great demonstration of what this sub-weapon can do. In Curse of the Moon 1, You can use it up to 3 times at once, and it deals okay damage. Take a look at the DPS here. It's completely crazy. Here it's just a single shot. If you use it once, it automatically costs 15 MP, so it's very expensive, but as you can see, totally worth it. It's almost like a secret sub-weapon. Typically gotta take one of the more difficult routes to find it or access a secret room. It's always out of the way. So I think they knew how strong it was, the people at Inti Creates. But even though it's secret, I think it's way overtuned. We're gonna see it on pretty much every boss from here on out. Now this is really cool. This is maybe my favorite stage route compared to the other categories I've done. This is totally off-road compared to like episode 1 or episode 2. We're going left down into this part of the stage. One bonk there, but not a big deal. Every bonk in this game on Ultimate Mode costs about 1.2 seconds. The platforms in this stage, by the way, are on a global cycle from when you start the game. So, totally unpredictable, you gotta react. That was very good. Something I like about this category is that even though it's Ultimate Mode, and Ultimate Mode is always the Zangetsu show, the OG cast has such great synergy that every character is still very useful. We saw the Jeeble Flight come into play in that earlier room. Alfred's sub-weapons speak for themselves, I think. Miriam's got the slide and the axe. Don't worry, that's going to be relevant later. Very relevant. The axe is just as good in this game as in the first game. Here we're going to use a combination of the Holy Water plus the Demon Essence plus the Electric. Absolutely tears through the stage 3 boss. Right here at the start of stage 4, we're going to get Miriam the Axe. That's a pretty tricky double hit to get on that Ice Golem. Pretty well done. Now, I came up with a new strat for this room. It's very elegant. What you do is swap to Miriam, slide, slide. Don't even bother killing that enemy. You just take the hits. You can barely make it through. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best. Here we get our Demon Essence back. Very convenient, a blue candle. You really need it for this room. And yeah, since there are 2 MP max-ups on the way in this EX route, we're going to end up with 40 max MP, which is really good. And it's going to open up some pretty inventive strats on later boss fights, since we have so much MP to work with. Now, best RNG here is technically when Bepar goes to the right rather than the left, but on this category it's less than a 1 second difference, according to my testing, so you're fine either way. The left pattern is harder to get correct, but that was well done. That's what you want to see. Bad RNG here on phase 2, unfortunately. No big deal, though. So yeah, at this point we are through 4 of the 8 stages. Let's do a run review. Gold stage 1, excellent. Very solid stages 2 and 4. And stage 3 was okay except for a couple of bonks. So up to this point, this is a really quality run. Stage 5 is definitely the hardest up to this point. Let's see how it goes. I do love how Inti Creates decided to include a shmup tribute stage in an action platformer. Kind of an oddball reference, but it does work out great, especially because this game has got shmup style difficulty despite being a platformer. I think it fits really nicely. That right there was a really nice ceiling clip. Pretty tough trick. You gotta make sure you're at the very apex of both jumps before you swap, or you won't clip into the ceiling. But it does save a lot of time, so very much worth going for. Bad platform cycle, so opting to fly a little bit is Jeeble before damage boosting out. That's something we're going to see more when I pick up the Legend version of the speedrun, where you have to fly as Jeeble. In Veteran, it kind of depends on the pattern. Okay, so everybody's favorite, Fire Rahab Lava Mandra. How's it going to go? Best RNG here, the odds are about 1 in 4, so not that low. And if you get the good RNG, you got to make sure you're in the right pixel position both times. This is where the axe really justifies itself. Check this out. Oof, that's some big damage, okay? Yeah, so with Demon Essence, plus 2 triple hits with the axe, you get a quick kill. A super quick kill. That is best RNG and well executed. This run is now 100% serious. This was my best pace ever. going into stage 6. By the way, this right here is a cool new strat. Instead of going through that shortcut, that one tile gap, which looks quicker, turns out it's actually faster to just fly around, and you get some extra MP to boots. In this room coming up, the Moai room, you don't have to use the Demon Essence, but I think it's worth investing the 0.7 seconds, because otherwise this room is just horrible. Very busy. And the Moais take 2 hits apiece, so good place to invest a little bit of time. Titan Commune, another RNG boss. We're looking for a middle left pattern, but if it's bad RNG, it's not that costly. That is bad RNG, of course. Of course. Electric a second time. Pretty good. Now, a couple of things I want to mention before these final 2 stages. Number 1, my goal time for this category was to save 3 seconds in total and get a 24-4x. So we're way ahead of schedule here. I was getting pretty nervous. Number 2, up to this point I had been struggling with the Gremory boss. I had practiced a couple of different boss fights, one using the Holy Water and one using the Demon Essence. And I was kind of swapping back and forth, wasn't sure which one fit me best. They're about the same speed. I decided in this run to go for Demon Essence. This right here is one of the coolest rooms in the whole game. Like with that one in stage 3, the platforms here are truly random. It was very good. This frog room, just waiting right there is actually optimal. It looks kind of weird. You're just sitting there for like a good second. But if you try and go too quickly, that frog will get you every time. Sometimes the fastest move is to wait. There's some speedrunning wisdom for you. Now here, I didn't get that heart, so my HP's bad. And we don't have the power glove or the armor in this category. So these final two fights are really scary. A lot can go wrong here. Instead, for the first time ever, I got best possible Gremory RNG. So Demon Essence ended up being the right call for sure. If you get best RNG, I think Demon Essence is very slightly faster and it's easier. So yeah, this is one hell of a run. Best Lavamandra RNG, best Gremory RNG, no major mistakes, a gold. Could it be the run? Let's see, one stage to go. Oh my god, it's minus 21. And let me tell you, this is the hardest stage in the game in pretty much every Curse of the Moon 2 category. And then you're on good pace and the nerves set in. You're gonna make mistakes. You just hope they're not too costly. That's a cool strat right there. You intentionally grab onto the stairs so that when you take damage you'll get knocked back, and then you switch back to Zangetsu. Works out really nice. Now there's a cool mechanic. I did some rerouting for this final stage. There's a cool mechanic here. Take a look. When you switch to Jeeble and take damage, you can cancel the knockback by turning into a bat. If you've already transformed, it doesn't work a second time. But if you haven't transformed, you can cancel in that way, which is super useful. We're going to see it again in a little bit. Jeeble is a big-time MVP for this stage. Got through that with 0 MP to spare. So once again here we're going to switch to Jeeble, take a hit, and then switch immediately. Or rather, transform immediately to negate the fireball knockback. Now I want to apologize. This run has been sick. There is a very embarrassing mistake coming up. Like, on top of everything else, this has been a really clean Stage 8. I was so nervous. Oh god, look away. Oh, here it comes. You're supposed to go from right to neutral on the D-pad, and my thumb slipped, so I held right a little bit too long. I'm just glad I landed on those lower stairs. Instead of killing the run, it lost about 3 seconds. I'll never make that mistake again, that's pure nerves. But here we go, new boss compared to episode 1. Mephisto with the OG crew, no Beelzebub, which is kind of a shame. I think using the OG squad for Beelzebub would be really fun. But this boss is great too. Miriam puts in a lot of work here. Those axe jumps are very precise. 2 for 2. Now we're hoping for the Ikaruga attack here. Laser beam is bad. Of course it's the laser beam. So there it is. This is retimed to be a 24-32. And I hate to say it, but that one nervous mistake at the end of Stage 8 did cost me the sub 2430, just barely. That would have been an insane time, but this run is still really good. It would be a little bit of a grind to get this kind of RNG again with a slightly better play, but I do think I'll come back and try and get that at some point. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the most fun I've had playing Curse of the Moon 2 to date. Next up, I'm going to be trying out episode EX Legend, which is going to be this, but even tougher. Can't wait to give that a shot.